Hi everyone, my name is Emily and I'm the Young Adult Librarian at the Rock Island Public Library, and today I'm going to tell you about a book that is called Binti. So this book takes place in the future, and in the far future we meet Binti, who has been accepted at University. This is the most prestigious university in the galaxy, and only about 5% of the students are even human. So Binti feels very, very grateful and happy to have been accepted. She is going to travel there to go to school. Except her family, they don't really love this idea. Basically, her family, they have a business making astrolabes. And these are sort of like the cell phones of the future. I mean, they do everything. They, take pictures, you can use them to communicate with other people. But, I mean, they're a lot more intricate and elaborate. But also, it's this like simple piece of technology that does a lot. And Binti is known to be the person in her family who is best at creating these. Like, this isn't a thing that's mass produced. This is something that, a skilled person who makes these has to build and create. Well, I mean, again, Binti's parents, they don't even say congratulations when she gets accepted because, I mean, it's already been decided that she's going to take over the family business. She's the best in the family after, their father at making these things. And, she may even be better than he is. Like, her life is sort of figured out already. But Binti, more than anything, wants to go into space and see other planets and meet people from other planets. So she goes. She sneaks off to the shuttle, kind of in the dead of night. Like, she fills out the acceptance forms and just doesn't tell her family. She doesn't tell her best friend. She just goes. And to get to University, it's going to be a trip of like 23 days. And I think they're 18 days into the journey. There's 5 days left. When one day, Binti is at lunch, and she's sitting with her new friends, and, they're very excited to almost be there. I think she says, this is the happiest she's been in her whole life, even though, this is the farthest she's ever been away from her family, who she loves. And she's eating dessert, and she's enjoying this, and she's looking over at Haru, who is this boy that she likes. And unfortunately, what happens to him is something bursts through his chest, and there's blood everywhere. And within, it's very, very fast. It's like less than a minute. Everybody on board the ship is dead except for Binti and these alien creatures called the Medusae. Now, the Medusae, they have a history with University, is what you discover in the book. Basically, in one of the university's museums, like it's specifically the weapons collection, they have something that belongs to the Medusae. And so the Medusae have decided, okay, we're going to kill everybody on board the ship, and we're going to steer it to the planet where this university is located, and we're going to get this thing back. We're going to get this weapon returned to us by any means necessary. But Binti is still alive. And, I mean, she is surprised. She's in shock. She feels like she could literally die of terror because, I mean, all her friends are suddenly dead. Like, it's so fast and so brutal. And she can smell blood, and she's just standing there, wondering why she isn't dead already. But she has this thing called an Idan. And what this is, I think it's like a small, sort of roundish piece of metal. And even Binti's father couldn't identify what it is. So she took it with her as like a sort of good luck charm. I mean, it's meant to kind of connect her to home and remind her, of where she's from and, the dear people back home. But again, she doesn't know what this thing is made of, and she's holding it. And when one of the Medusae tries to attack her, it sort of shrivels up. Like, when you picture these aliens, picture like sort of a cephalopod type thing, like a jellyfish, but there's like a huge stinger on this thing. It's like this huge barbed thing that can stab people. And these things can float. Like, they're not walking, they're just like moving through the air. And when Binti sees, oh, that thing just shriveled up, I've got this thing. I mean, it can apparently kill them. Like, why is that? But, I mean, she doesn't have time to think about it too much. She just says, hey, get back. I mean, you've seen what happened to this other creature. I will do it to you too. So she's able to get back to her room. She's able to, by holding the Adan out in front of her, she's able to get back to her cabin, go inside, And I mean, for the next 5 days, until they get to UMSA University, Binti has to figure out what to do. She has to figure out, all right, all these people have already died. How can I stop a war between the Medusae and UMSA University? All the people there, thousands of people could die. I have to do something to stop this. And the Medusae on the ship are also curious, hey, what is that thing? Why is it able to kill us? Who are you? What have you got? And she's like, I'm gonna figure it out. So let's talk though. Let's not have this huge, horrible intergalactic war. There's got to be a way to solve this conflict. Now, one other thing that you should know about Binti in this book is the stuff you see, that she's put on her skin on the cover. This is called Otjisi, and it's very important to the Himba people. It's very important in Binti's culture. And so she puts it on every day. She has a limited supply, but she does have some with her going to UMSA University, and she's planning to make more when she gets there. Now, in the same way that her Idan is deadly to the alien Medusae, for some reason, the Otjisi can heal them. So Binti has to figure out, okay, what is my culture's connection to these creatures? Can we form a connection ultimately that will save my life and stop this war? So it's a fantastic book. This is a novella, shorter than a novel, but there's 3 of these, and they're all about, Binti and, just different things that happened to her. By the end of the first book, she has really changed. Her whole life has been changed by this experience, and, who she is mentally and physically. And so the next book is called Binti Home, and that's the one I've got going now, and she has become friends with the Medusae, kind of in spite of everything that has happened. She becomes friends with one, and this Medusae is also enrolled at UMSA University. And what Binti does is she goes home, and she takes this Medusae with her. And she's like, okay, I have to make things right with my family, but I also want them to understand that these creatures, they're not just mindless killing machines. We can be friends, we don't have to be at war with this other species. So if you like sci-fi, it's really fascinating. Nnedi Okorafor is the author. She's written a lot of great books, some graphic novels and novellas. But yeah, there are 3 books about Binti, and these are all available, I think, as audiobooks through Hoopla, and then you can read the ebooks, I believe, through Access 360, and there may even be the first one on Hoopla. They're available through a few different platforms, so check it out. And thank you for watching. I will see you again soon.